last couple of weeks, some of you guards have kind of gotten in on the rim protection too. J-Dub blew up a lob, kind of being that low man. You blew up one kind of in transition. Tell me about some of those plays when you're the low man there and teams are trying to get those alley oops over the top.
Uh, I just feel like those are hustle play. Anytime we can make a play to help our team in general, we'll do it. And then it's scary sometimes. We put in our stuff and you never know if they catch the love and we in a highlight reel or whatever. But it's just us sacrificing our body and putting the team first. And yeah, it's just a big hustle play.
And Lou, we were just talking about Chet and some of the crazy things he was doing as a shot blocker in Denver, and then he has a night like yesterday. So I'm just curious, from the beginning of the season, just how have you seen his process and change, and how has he maybe adjusted to the league on that end?
It's just from experience. It's been good. Just from the past couple of games, he knows when to go, and he just feel he has a better feel for the game, and that comes just with more experience as he's growing and he's been playing. But it's good that he's protecting the rim like that. It's great to have a guy like this around the rim, and especially for me, a guy that guard a lot. When I get beat, it's gonna happen, and he's there. Having my back, so it's huge.
Between you, Isaiah, J. Will, Kenrich in there as well. Obviously, you guys all take a lot of offensive charges or offensive fouls and charges. Do you guys talk about that much just within the group?
We were talking about it a lot last year when I think K. Richard, J. Will was leading the NBA at taking charge, and it was a little competition. Yeah. But like I said, it's just us sacrificing our body, and then me. I don't think there's a lot of guys that do what I do going through the screens, but but nah, it's just really us just playing hard and trying to get some stuff.
Do y'all ever talk about like the difference between taking a charge, but then also like taking an offensive foul? Like those are two different things, kind of.
It's two different things, but like I feel like I'm in this position so much that it's not even a conversation. It's not. I can't really talk about it with them. You know what I mean? So not that much. Yeah.
Does it get tiring doing what you do? Because it's one thing to play an NBA schedule,
yeah,
but to get the assignment of the primary guy on the other team night after night after night, chasing him or staying in front of him, all those things.
Never. Nah. I mean, I feel like it's my job, and it's what I work hard my whole life for that. That's how I earn a position in this league. So, this is how I approach the game every time. Wherever I'm guarding, if it's the best player, wherever I'm going out there to compete and play hard, and I don't really get tired just because it's my job.
Do you ever sense frustration from the guys you're guarding? Do they ever express it? Do they ever just say, "Hey, get away from me, man, I'm tired"?
That happens sometimes. I sense this and I feel I hear it sometimes, but at the end of the day, I'm just there to do my job. Sometimes it's gonna be a good night, sometimes it's gonna be a bad night. Some guys gonna go off. They don't fuck high 40, went crazy. So it happens. It's basketball, but my thing is always to make everything tough.
It can be hard. So go ahead.
When a few years ago, Shea would have an off season and he'd come back like this totally different, dramatically better player. And at some point, you can't make leaps like that anymore, and you got to do smaller things. I just wonder, maybe on either end, if there are some small things you've noticed that Shea's worked on where you're like, man, he got a lot better at this year than last.
I'm gonna say his leadership every year, from my first year to now. His leadership every year is doing better. He's getting better at that. It's just how he approach guys individually and all that. But it's those type of stuff you don't really realize. I realize it because I've been there for so long with him. But it's huge, and we have so many young guys on this team too, and it's great for our leader to be like that.
What is his style when he talks to guys?
As he approached people different ways. So with me, it's gonna be a different way that he approached Case, whatever. So, but it's just the fact that you see him sometimes talking to them and then putting them aside and all that.
And Lou, he's talked about, wanting to be one of the best players ever. Like, it feels like the dialogue for him personally has changed as the years have gone on. How have you maybe seen his headspace change as he thinks about the league and what he could be?
Well, I'm gonna say his approach to every game has been a little different from years. Just how he's locked in, how he's ready to go, and how he gets the team ready at the same time. So that's been huge, and just y'all seeing the way he's playing right now. And if he keeps, I feel like he can keep that going. And if he keeps that going, he can be one of the greatest to play this game ever.
When you say how he gets the team ready, what do you mean?
Just the way he talks to us, just the way he approaches the game himself, the way he starts, how he plays hard in the beginning of the games and stuff like that. That just touched the whole team.
We talked about Shea's improvement. What do you feel like you've improved since last season?
Um,
How are you a better player?
just being more consistent, taking my time on the court. It's huge. Just really reading the game, and at the same time, just being patient. You know what I mean? Let the game come to me. You know, sometimes a couple years ago, I was, playing really fast and then not really understanding the game. But I just spent a lot of time watching film and seeing my advantage on the court.
Luke, I'm curious because I don't think we asked you the other night. What was the inspiration behind the whole mask and all that?
Mask. It was just me going through my closet. That was it. I was just trying some clothes on. I wanted to wear a hat, and I seen the mask, and I just tried it. And I was like, it looks nice. Just rock it. That was it. Yeah.
Where do you put a mask? Is it in the hats? Do you hang it up on a hanger? Like, where does that go in the
Well,
closet?
it's all my hats, beanie, all my accessories are over there. So I was just going through all my stuff, and I was like, I got a mask. Let me just try it. It was sick. Yeah, it was nice. It looked good. I liked it.
Mark, we've talked about all five guys being able to play make over the last few games and probably all year. I may just not have noticed it as much, but it seems like all five guys on the floor can cut for you too. 7-footer in Chet's cutting from the angle. Ooze 6'10" or whatever he is cutting from the angle. Is that surprising to opposing teams? Do you think to see guys that size making cuts?
Probably not at this point. It's something we've done quite a bit. It's all downstream from the driving. We drive the ball a lot, and the game plan against that is heavy help in gaps and committing multiple guys to the ball handler. And when teams do that, they lose sight of the weak side of the floor. And so moving into windows for open shots or closeouts and cutting in some of those windows is just part of our system, and everyone has to be able to do it because we're going to find ourselves in different parts of the floor. So it's encouraging to see everybody doing it, but it's not surprising.
You just were talking about the weak side, and I was thinking about the other side of the ball. You've had your guards come in and blow up lobs the last few games. Can you maybe explain the responsibilities of that guy who's in that bottom part of the shell there, and how they need to do their job in that situation?
Yeah, I thought the Denver game was our best game of the season in terms of the low man in the shell. We had a lot of Oos had 2 verticalities on one play. Chet obviously had a bunch of them. Lou had a huge one in the second half of the game. Josh had a really big one where we got kind of caught in a coverage and they threw the ball to the pocket. He made a play. Chet had another verticality on the same play after they got the ball back. So it's huge, especially if you want to pressure, and pressure in the coverage or pressure the ball. If you extend the floor like that, then you're going to get beat sometimes, and the ball is going to get underneath the defense, and you've got to have somebody in place at the basket, and we've done a nice job of that.
Mark, last night when I meant to ask you this last night. You challenged 2 Chet blocks, and I don't know if any of that is that coincidence. Is there a strategy behind it? Like, what went into those 2 decisions?
I mean, we thought we were going to get him. I mean, we wouldn't just do it to do it. Anytime a player is that convicted, they know the consequence of losing a challenge. So anytime they're that convicted, it's got my attention. He in particular has a good feel for when he blocks a shot and when he doesn't. So I trust him, and then we try to consult the replay. But those are points that we can take off the board. So I do think referees are getting used to officiating him. Like he's obviously gone and gotten some plays that are pretty close. And that may even look like fouls. The first one I thought was a foul when I saw it live as well, and then I saw the replay, and I was like, he might not have gotten them there. So I can understand why they miss those plays sometimes.
Is there a piece of that when you challenge 2 in a game? You challenge them because you think you can get them, but do you think there can be an advantage of an official saying, just maybe getting it in his head, okay, this guy he's getting these, he's excellent at this. Maybe you give him the benefit of the doubt here or there.
Meaning Chet? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would hope so. I don't think it's a benefit of the doubt thing. I just think they've made comments to me in games before about other players, that other players are hard to officiate. I've gotten that comment before, where I complain about a call and they say, look, Mark, this guy's really hard to officiate. I think Chet Holmgren's hard to officiate at the rim, and I think he's in his first year. Their craft, referees focus on their craft just like everybody does, so they learn the league, they learn the players. And I think they'll adjust to him, but obviously he's a hard guy to officiate there because it looks like there's a lot of contact, but he's usually pretty vertical and legal.
You guys had 58 points in the paint last night, and obviously Memphis, great rim protecting team, and they're really good at limiting those points in the paint. What did you like about the way you guys were able to generate those looks throughout the night?
So a lot of it was the was fast break. We had 30 in transition last night, or 31. I think that's our high for the season. So we really ran last night. Obviously, we forced a lot of misses. We rebounded the ball well, so that had a lot to do with it. And then I thought we had good spacing and good attacks in the half court. I thought we were just on the gas a lot of the night. And I thought the same was true in Denver. I thought, those two games, on games where we didn't really shoot the three great, we shot pretty poorly again last night, but we were able to manufacture points at the rim, which is kind of the base of our system. We wanted to start there, and obviously we want to diversify, make jump shots, and get fouled and all that, but we want teams to have to stop that first.
How encouraging is it that you guys have been able to stay consistent in that paint production, given the variety of defenses and looks that teams are throwing your way?
Yeah, I think, we're still learning that. It's an ongoing process, and teams will continue to evolve if we continue to evolve as well. It's just a never-ending process, but the team's done a good job of learning different ways we can get played, how we can still try to impose our style on teams when we get played like that. And good teams are stubborn about how they want to play. And if we want to be a good team, we have to be stubborn. In the last two games, we've been stubborn. We've gone and imposed ourselves on the game, on the offensive end of the floor. And sometimes it requires patience to do that on a possession, but we've done that pretty well.
Mark, you mentioned Chet being a difficult guy to officiate. I'm just curious, with him being such a unique player and maybe some of the nuances that come with that, what is it about maybe the way he moves or whatever it is that makes him so difficult to officiate?
Well, those plays are hard. Like the hardest plays for them are like block charges and verticality plays because there's obvious contact. They have to make a call on the play on a lot of them. It's bang, bang. And it's very difficult to evaluate the legality of a defender in real time. And so I think they're really hard plays, and he in particular does a great job with his verticality, and he's so long that, again, it looks sometimes like he fouls somebody on those contests where he's either legal or gets the ball or both. So I think that's probably the reason why. They'd probably answer that better, but you can't talk to them, so I'll speak for them. I'm sure they love that.
Has he lost the ability to amaze you? Have you about seen it all from him now? A couple of those plays last night with the ball, the spin move. I mean, he's done some nice drives to the basket, but for a guy that big to make the spin move like he made, do you ever catch yourself saying, "Oh wow, I hadn't seen that"?
Yeah, not just with him though. These are NBA players. These guys are really talented. I'm amazed. Trey Mann's playing one-on-one right now. Like, I'm amazed at some of the space he can create at his size in an NBA game. So they all amaze me in different ways. His last block, I thought, was he came out of nowhere on that one, and his closing speed on some of those plays is amazing. But at the end of the day, everybody in the league's talented, and so it's about fighting for the margins, and that's what we have to do. Everybody's got guys that can do that. We're playing the Clippers in a couple days. There's a lot of guys on that team that can amaze you. So the game's going to come down to the same meat and potatoes at the end of the day.
He did a thing last night, and he's done this before, where Bane is driving. It looks like he's going to shoot, so Chet goes to contest, and then Bane dumps that off, and he blocks the shot of the guy who gets the dump-off pass. Like, how hard is that to jump to contest and then jump again on
Well,
the catch?
when I used to do it, I wasn't able to get to the second one, so it was really hard for me. Yeah, it's hard. He's an amazing athlete, with great length. He's got a special skill there. Now, like I said, he's got things, there's, I know it's a Chet celebration today, but, there's a play last night where he commits to Lou is playing the low spot. Chet kind of tries to bump himself to the low spot. Ball sprays to the right corner. No one closes to it. The guy missed the shot, but him learning how to bump himself and keep himself low, communicate that to his teammate. There's another play where Bane drove baseline. He kind of commits to Bane. Bane throws it out. Bane relocates like Curry would, and Chet is now guarding Bane. He doesn't follow him out. Bane makes a three. Those types of things. The shot blocking is amazing. He's got a special skill there, but there's still a lot of stuff he needs to learn and things he can learn to put himself in more of those positions to keep himself around the basket through communication, seeing the pictures. So that's where our focus needs to lie with him. He's certainly got a very strong base of talent.
Back to the Denver game, on the stop that you absolutely had to have between the 2-for-1 there at the end, they put Jokic in isolation kind of out top.
Yep.
And this might be overanalyzing, but I was just curious if you think, they seem to isolate him at the top more throughout the game. Do you think that was a product of the way that you guys were doubling and kind of how you were defending him when they put him on the sides of the floor?
Yeah, I think one thing you have to account for on that possession is the shot clock, and so they're playing with a lead. They're trying to bleed the clock down and shorten the game as much as possible, which is, in my opinion, the right move. I thought they managed that part of the game well. And so if you're going to end up against the shot clock, you don't want to do it low down the floor against a double team. So you usually try to keep, the ball in the middle of the floor so that if they commit, we do the same thing with Shea.
Yeah.
If they commit help, you've got multiple outlets. You're not pinned against the sideline. And so I thought, it's part of why you play for a stop. It's part of why you can take a quick two, because you're going to be playing against a team in all likelihood that's up against the shot clock, and your chances of a stop are higher in that situation. But that, I think, it's more of a product of that.